We have a comment here that I'd like to share with the with the group today. It says it's well, Minister Skinner says, since I have been open about my anxiety, my nephews have been less ashamed to talk about and get help for their anxiety. Right. And you know, Sunday's anxiety made me do the following. I stopped doing at 4. I don't allow my house to be busy on Sunday. No washing, cleaning, Facebooking, with the exception of my blog and now worship service. I don't pull out a computer or any electronic device. So here's the deal. Very good management, right? But what happened there? What she's explaining is that when she learned how it was suppressing her, her question was, I wonder if it's affecting other people.
Right.
Church, if we be honest about anxiety and we be honest about our stuff, we can then, watch this, become a beloved community. Because what we would do is that we'll help other people. See, it's almost like you're trying to make it seem like you got it so together, when you can teach people that you really don't have it together as it looks like, and you can tell people that, hey, sometimes I need somebody to talk to as well. And instead of you being the person that always have a shoulder, they then extend the shoulder to you. Or watch this, could it be that there are some shoulders, or there's some people that need ministry but can't get it because you're too perfect for them to minister to them?
Statement or question. If, back to anxiety, if a person tells you at sundry times that you cause them to have anxiety each time you show up, you're not aware of this, and that is never explained to you until a very crucial time.
Oh boy!
And you just got to find out.
Mm-hmm.
And they just said, just got so bad that would just say, I just hate to see you coming.
Oh my.
And that's what the word was. And I asked her, well, why didn't you say something? Because we talked. Why didn't you say something to me? Maybe I could have reached out or explained or whatever was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But they just let that ride until it was at a desperate point. So if you don't know that person, you're making people anxious for whatever, just being you, sometimes you are a little too much. Maybe.
Well, but see, I think, while it is that we have you have those questions pending in yourself, right? Like when a person becomes nervous because you're there, the first question that I would what I'm hearing there is the deficiency in the person that is engaging you.
Yes.
However, I'm also hearing that if you are an anxious person, your anxieties can project a panic on a situation that's calm at your arrival. So as on today, you made a confession. You said, if you're being anxious, please let you know. So now you have at least 30 witnesses that you might get 30 text messages at one time.
I wrote before on that first one you say that the person you are engaging feels a certain way because of their stuff, not yours. I would like to put that back on them.
You would,
because if somebody made me sick, you've heard people say, you make me sick. People say that all the time. You need to investigate that. Why do I make you sick? Because there's something going on with you that interferes with the way they feel, and you could help them with you if they would let you know that you make them sick. How do I make you sick? I'm not bothering you. Yeah, but people just look at you and get mad for nothing.
Well, but Mother, I can say this, that when it comes down to our our presentation of ourselves, like in our world, we Christians, and especially those of us in the Church of God in Christ, we call ourselves saints. If a person does not feel that they are saintly, if they feel, or if they know that they're yet still in their sin, then they may have a sense of anxiety time we come around. You ever seen folk that when you come, I visit members all the time, And when I visit sometimes people and I go to their domicile and they might still have some liquor out. Time they see me pull up, they put the liquor up because they're not wanting me to, they don't want me to come in, and they, out of respect for me, they move that out of the way. Right. But what if I come unannounced and and they don't know? You see what I'm saying? And while they're yet bubbling it up, you understand what I'm saying? There's pastor shows up and watch this, as they would say, and change everything. Right?
They gonna say they're on the doctor's order.
Yeah, well, they might be. Well, before we go forward here, let me pause, and I got a couple of questions that I'm going to contend with. Mother Bird has her hand up. So Mother, if you could just give me a brief second here to address these couple of questions. One of the questions was, is overthinking and anxiety the same? I would say it has a very similarity to it, as we just talked about before, because when you're overthinking, your concentration is overloaded. And so at that point, you got a lot on your mind. We related overthinking to restlessness. The other question was, is there a difference between nervousness and anxiety? I would say to me that the two sounds the same.
Right.
Because nervousness could be related to fear, worry could be related to nervousness. Both of them have the same attachments and base. So at the surface, I would say yes, but I will be willing to hear more about that if in fact that you choose to elaborate and put that question or put more information there in the box. Mother Bird, you have your hand up. I'd love to hear from you. Good morning.
Good morning to everyone again. Okay, so I just listened to Mother Lee talk, and I want to say this for those of us that, and we know who we are, that have these strong personalities, and people get anxious around us. I had to realize that about myself, dealing with a lot of people in my life, my children, these things they've told me since they've been adults that that I have to look at and work on. I can't always put it back on the person and say, well, I'm just being me and you got to get with the program or whatever. There are some things in my personality that I had to take, and I'm still taking a really hard look at in relationship with other people, because as a person who don't have a lot of patience, like Pastor was describing, if something needs to be done, then it's like it needs to be done. Like, okay, I need to see the ball rolling like right now. I need to see some kind of action going toward what we say we're doing. And in my case, because I'm borderline OCD in some areas, I have to also, it has to be done in a particular order, which I have to own as my problem. Because it doesn't make any difference about order in some instances. And we know order is important in some things, but in some things it don't make any difference, which way you do it, as long as it gets done. But I have issues with the order of things. And that's my issue. I have issue with you talking about it, but I'm not seeing you really doing anything about it. So then after a while, I don't really want to hear about it anymore. Either we're going to put forth some action toward it, or we're going to stop talking about it. And that's not always good. And that's not always right. So when people tell us that we make them anxious, or we, upset them, or they don't know how to act around us, we have to really look hard at that from an inward thing, I think, because it can be unsettling for some people, to just be around somebody that's seemingly, and we don't always have it all together. We don't always know what we're doing. We're not always right about everything. It just seems like that to other people that are looking on us. Nobody knows when you go home or how you really feel about yourself, or on the inside or whatever, but we project such a confidence that I'm it good. Makes other people their anxiety show up, because they just can't, they don't feel like they can ever do it right for us, or it'll never be enough for us. So that's something that I think in relationship with other people, we really have to acknowledge and really work on it and pray about it, because it's not easy, and ask God to help us and show us how to set people at ease. I think that's something that I'm working on, is trying to set those around me that I love and that I care about set them at ease and make them not feel inconfident, just as a real example. And I hope T don't mind me saying this, but my daughter T is very capable in a whole lot of areas, but I make her anxious because, I think I don't mean to be, but I think I've been like critical in so many ways, or maybe I just act out with so much confidence about what I'm doing that it makes her feel like she's not doing stuff right all the time, even though it's stuff that she know how to do that I don't even know how to do. But she'll question me as if I know she's doing it right. And I'm like, I don't know if you're doing it right or not, because I don't even know how to do that. That's your thing. But I take away her confidence, and I'm working on that because she's very capable. And so I think that I do that with other people in my life as well. And that's not something intentional, but it is something that's true. And so whether it's intentional or not, I have to look at that and say, okay, what is it that I'm doing? What is it I'm saying or not saying or whatever, or reacting to them in a certain way, that I have to work on that, because I don't want people that are highly capable to lose their confidence because I exude so much confidence when I may not even know what I'm doing. But I'm just saying. But anyway, that was just the point I wanted to make about that.
Very good, Mother. I will hold my response to that, but that's very good, and it's resonating with several that are on. Skinner has a follow-up question, comment, or statement to be made. Minister Skinner, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you all doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Good. So I want to piggyback on Mother Bird and Mother Lee in terms of having that strong personality and just working within my family and even with some of my students, that because out of fear would never admit that I didn't know what I was doing. So I would exude that confidence. And so when things did not go the way that I wanted them to go, I would be very critical out the box. And so that made people timid around me. And I used to always say, well, when things go on in my family, why don't nobody come and tell me what's going on? Because I always was the person that was right. And they didn't do it to my expectation. And so I stopped doing that and just started listening to them. And then, like, okay, well, we made a mistake. Let's move on from there. So what are we going to do? And then also just allowing them to see my imperfections, that me too, I'm struggling as well. And this is why I exude this confidence, because coming from my background, I got it all the time. You from South Memphis, you don't know anything. So this real world, I had to put that on, but I didn't know how to turn it off with my family. And so, but also with being a perfectionist and having to put things together, and you want things done when you want them done. I remember talking to Miss Purtle last year coming home from work, and I would always have these things that I had to do for work, and my stuff was ready. And people would not have their things together. And I was like, the Lord must be working with me, because these people, they don't know who I am. They need to come on with their stuff, because I already told them what I need. I gave them an outline. They ain't did the outline. What's wrong with them? But the Lord told me, he said, you do what you're supposed to do. They come with what they have because you don't know what they're dealing with as to why they can't complete it in this timely manner. They come, you say to them, okay, let's look at a time that we can get together to pull this thing together, instead of me, calling them, causing them more anxiousness and making myself anxious, because I'm ready. You give me something to do, I'm on top of it. I want it done, but everybody don't operate that way. And I have to learn that.
Well, very good. Skinner, there's we have another comment, and I'll pick right back up after this one. Sister Dion would like to share this morning. Good morning, Dion. How are you this morning? Unmute yourself and let's hear your say.
Hi everyone. Good morning. Hope everybody is safe and had a good week and enjoyed the snow. I just want to say, and it's not to offend anyone, it's my personal belief, and it's not always the case, but sometimes I think that people that are professionals, not all of them, but some, I believe sometimes they have a mental disorder as well, and they use the term as a perfectionist in place of it. Um, and it's like, you got some people that say, I want things done in order. Or if you take off walking, they want you to take off with the right leg first instead of the left leg because it's just something about it. Or, I prefer things turned to the left in directions versus the right, because so sometimes that can be, a disorder that really needs, therapy or addressed, or, maybe some medical advice. And
Yeah,
I just, want to share that, because maybe, not in all cases, and some people really are professionals, but
well,
some
there.
people think I'm a perfectionist, but sometimes that can be a disorder, I believe.
Well, thank you, Sister Dion. Here's what I will caption that with. The disorder is it removes the harmony that could be.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's the disorder. I want to kind of bring back to the table something, because we're in an age. Here's the reason why I want to talk about this. We're in an age right now where we're always looking for a name for something. Okay, we're always looking for a name, and so what happens is that when we start getting these names, we attach ourselves to certain things, and that name sometimes is not very good. Right? For a person to be saintly and be an OCD person, that an OCD person is a person that loves order. As Mother Bird was talking about, she likes things in order. My wife likes things in order. And here's the deal. I got so tickled when Mother Bird said that, it's really about getting things done. And as long as it gets done, that's fine. But you need to be able to see things getting done. Well, your pastor likes to get in the kitchen sometimes and make noise with the pots. I might use, now Mother Pearl, you're laughing already. See that? I might use all the pots in the kitchen to make one dish.
No.
See?
No.
But y'all said cook. Now I would think that if I went in it, come on back. Come on back. So one of the things that's very interesting is this. While I'm in there trying to cook, I've learned how to work with my wife. Because see, if she's in the kitchen, my wife learned how to work with me. You know what she's gonna do? She's gonna be in the kitchen with me while I'm cooking. And what is she gonna be doing while I'm using these pots? She's going to be passing me the towel, wipe this, wipe that. And I've learned not to get offended anymore. Then when she comes in with all these instructions, you understand? She don't want you to, don't waste nothing on the stove. It's a stove. We're gonna wipe it off when it's over with. But no. But see, that's how you get it done. The reality of the matter, church, is watch this. We all come to the table with a way to do things, and that way may not be the same as our neighbor. We have to figure out ways to work one with another, so we'll be able to get the things done and it not cause disorder in the relationship, but keep us together as a group and family. But if you are consumed by all other feelings, or if you have allowed those feelings to get infected with other things while you're dealing with anxiety, you're not going to be able to talk about anxiety because you're angry. Mother Purtle, you were saying?
I was going to say, sometimes it's not so much how a person does something different from you. Sometimes it's just that they aren't doing anything, period. And that's what gets me.
Say more about that.
I don't have a problem with you having your own way of doing things. From being a teacher, I know that there are times, I remember one time I was teaching the class how to balance chemical equations. And I have a certain way to do it because to me, it's just easier. The book might show you another way. And I tell students, if you can do it that way, do it that way. And I had one young lady doing a quiz one day. She was sitting and she was doing this. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm working on my quiz. I'm balancing my equation." I said, well, why don't you do it on your paper? She said, "I can't do it on my paper. The only way I can do it is do it in the air." And got every last one of them right. I said, "Now see, I could never do it like that." Okay. So as long as you're able to do it do it the way that you can do it. But when you're not doing anything, that's what bugs me. That's when the problem comes in, because there are some people who will say, well, I wanted to do it my way. But what is your way? You don't have a way because you're not doing it. So it's a difference between using my way as an excuse to not do than it is to do it your way and still get it done, because your way doesn't get it done. Now that's when the problem comes in for me.
Well, Mother, let me ask you this: Do you see that operating in our world more so today, that we're not doing, and have we connected not doing with anxiety?
I don't think that we have connected not doing so much with anxiety, because when you define what anxiety is, and the first part of that definition says that it's a mental disorder. People don't want to have a mental disorder, but you have physical disorders, you have mental disorders. If your body is sick, you go and see about it. So if your mind is sick, you need to see about it. Sometimes when you go to a doctor about a physical thing, it might be something that's very simple. You might just need some salve, you might need some cream for it. And then sometimes you might need some chemotherapy. Okay. Same thing with mental things. Sometimes you might need just to be able to talk something out with somebody. And then there are times when you need some long-term therapy. And then there are some times when you need to be enclosed in a place so that you don't hurt yourself and anybody else. But I believe that you should be able to get that degree of care that you need so that you can work out your problem as best you can. There are some people who will never work through their mental issues because they just got that thing. Just like there are some people who have physical issues and they die. They were not able to work through it. All right. But you have to be able to identify what your situation is. Okay, say for instance, you say you want to start a business. Okay, what kind of business? You can't just go and just say, okay, give me the keys to a place and I got a business. What are you going to be doing in it? You need to know how to do something so well that people will want to come to you for you to do it. You can't have well, I guess you could, but it doesn't usually work. You can't just have a jack of all trades business. Most people who are jacks of all trades, they're not doing a whole lot of stuff well. They're just kind of doing, and there it is. But you have to identify whatever it is that you're trying to do. Then you need to enlist God's help to help you to get through it. And then there are times then, just like in the text in Nehemiah, he then had to get the help from some other people. We're talking about chapter 2, but if you look at after he talked to the king and you go on into chapter 3, you see all these people who helped him accomplish what it was. Sometimes you can't do it all by yourself. Sometimes you have to stop having pride, stop having whatever it is, stop being scared, stop being afraid, whatever you call it, and go on and ask. And most people, if they see you're trying to really do something, a lot of people will assist you in what you're doing, and you don't have to do it all yourself.
Well, see, Mother, I'm glad that you said what you said, and I want to kind of come back just a touch, if we could, and unpack this very thing that you named as a phenomenon, but something that we have not necessarily spoke very plainly about, that I want to make sure that we put more emphasis on. You said that in the church, we advocate for members. If they're sick, go to the doctor. I am one of those. If you're feeling some heart palpitations, if you're having panic attacks, please go and get your heart checked out. It doesn't hurt to find out whether or not it is a heart attack, or maybe you just ate the wrong thing before you laid down and you should have sat up a little bit more or something. Maybe you had a little indigestion, but it doesn't hurt to go get checked.
Right.
But what's interesting is this: when we start talking about the mind, and we start encouraging the members of the body of Christ to seek out support, please help me understand why that is such a sin. For you to, because I do know the other side of it, that at one point the church did not want us to go to the shrink, if you will, to the psychiatrist, or have any type of mental disorder, because it labels us as being something that other than a saint.
Right.
It makes you say, right, Mother Lee, it makes you, in short, because you're going to a psychiatrist, you got to be crazy. Okay, but herein lies the problem. If you're wrestling with some anxiety, I can go back and look at some of the things that happened in the day's church, and I'll tell you this: when they were preaching fire and brimstone, that scared you into Jesus.
Right.
Oh, I got to get saved because I don't want to die and go to hell, right? And so
right.
if that's the only reason why, how can you equate the love of God to fire and brimstone? God
That's
finna
not
burn up
love.
everything, huh?
That's not love. That's just something that will scare you.
Right.
Because if you do what he tells you to do, the fire and brimstone is not something that you have to even concern yourself with.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
as saints, as people, as Christians, whatever you want to call it, we think that if we read enough scriptures, if we ask the Lord to, renew our mind, that's it. But we go to if we break our leg, we're not asking the Lord to renew my leg.
Mhm.
We're going to see to the doctor, to the orthopedist, to have him x-ray it, touch it, do this, that, and the other, wrap it, put a cast on it, give me a little wheelie to ride on it, all that kind of stuff, crutches, all of those kinds of things. But if it's mental, we're just supposed to pray it away, and it's not that easy.
But Mother, let me share this. Sister T put it in the box, and I'll share it with those that can't see it. Sister T said that the church classified mental illness as something as demonic, as if the person was possessed with the devil.
Right.
So watch this. So and here's where we would equate bad theology. Jesus said, "Don't worry and do not fear."
Right.
Did he say that you were filled with the devil because you were worried?
No.
How about this? In several instances where Jesus would heal people or he would come on the scene, the text said that the people were very afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Were they full of the devil? The man in chains wasn't classified as worried or fearful. If anything, folks were scared of him.
Right.
But watch this. Where we read the text inaccurately, the text says the whole region was full of the devil.
Right, exactly.
The region in Mark chapter 5 was demonically influenced.
Mm-hmm.
The region. So when Jesus came to the region, they said, "We don't want you here at the region." So much so that when he rescued the man from the region, the people from the region came back and told Jesus, "You got to go," because the principality of that region did not want Jesus on that scene. I don't want to flip the text, but that would really that could take me somewhere. But let me come back to this and say it this way. I have learned that there are times when members need to talk through the things that they're dealing with in life, because sometimes life just don't make sense. The disciples had Jesus.